Welcome to the SIG Cloud Provider office hours for Wednesday, August 12th. We are SIG of the Kubernetes project and are governed by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, which boils down to be excellent to one another and be respectful. And if you have something you would like to add to either the meeting agenda or just say, feel free to either put it in the document or raise your hand and we will get to you. All right, we have a pretty light agenda today. And also, yes, get yourself added to the Kubernetes dev group if you would like to be able to edit the document directly as well. Okay, pretty light agenda today. I think Lucas has a KEP that he'd like to tell us some amazing things about. Lucas?
Yeah, so basically, mainly just want to say that we moved the cap to beta, and we only have one remaining thing, which is the pull request for the current blog post. So explaining that we changed the metric a little bit and added 2 labels. And I think it would be nice if one of the SIG members could just take a look at it. I think we already got a review from Tim Bannister from SIG Docs, so that should be fine, I guess, mostly. But if also one of the SIG members wants to review it, that would be awesome. And then we're basically, I guess, really fully done with moving it to beta.
Wonderful. And I see Almiko saying in the chat that he's going to review it. And I think once he reviews and approves it, I think that if this is going out with the release, I think they schedule them according to, they kind of stagger them around the time of the release. Is that what, or is this one going out desynced from the release? Do you know?
I think the blog posts are a bit released later than the main release, I think, because it's not docs, it's a blog post. But I'm not 100% sure. I would have to check the schedule.
Right. I think that's fantastic. I think usually since this is for 1.37, what happens is they end up slating it in after the release blog, then kind of there's individual blog posts about awesome features and things that have advanced over time, which is pretty cool. Yeah, you see them talking about, which branch to target and that sort of thing. Yeah. And then they put it out with release.
Basically it for the cup already.
All right, fantastic. Do you want to drop a link to the cup as well, just so that we have it? I know we've had it linked many times, but just make sure it's in these notes as well. Fantastic. Okay, thank you. All right. Let's see. I think, do we have any sub-projects that we want to update or any other topics that people want to bring up?
Maybe I can give an update for Crow.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jacob. Let's hear about it.
So we've had a presentation on KubeCon Japan and also did a small on-site sync with some of the maintainers, and we agreed to push on one of the most demanded feature requests, which is the graph primitive. I will link that in the meeting notes. And I think now we are basically reorganizing around getting that in, and that will likely be the next big milestone for the project once that lands. So we're now in the process of organizing ourselves on getting that in.
Oh, that's quite exciting. Thank you, Jacob. That's good to know. I know that there was a lot of discussion about, graph, it's so big, we definitely should get it in before we go 1.0, but it requires some consideration and getting it in there and getting it right. So thank you for doing that work. Okay. And I think Daniel has something to add here as well. Daniel?
Yeah, I was talking to, just also in relation to Crow, I was talking to, so 2 things. One, in relation to the discussions on a fleet scoped Crow object or RGD. I was going to meet with the SIG multi-cluster yesterday, but they had postponed the meeting. So the next meeting that we'll have, it's on next Tuesday. And offline, I've been thinking with Almiko as well as with Jesse on exactly how to word the ask. So I have a little, like a short deck on essentially just an intro to Crow and basically the questions of how the two SIGs can work together. Probably something along the lines of, do we write a cap and would they like to review it? Is this something that they're already looking at? And so that will be interesting to see. And then the other thing that I've been talking to Jesse is about the idea of a cross CLI. So kind of like the analog to what the headlamp plugin is, but CLI. And Jesse was already working on a cap or a crep for that. And so maybe they'll add a couple of features based on the feedback from the plugin, and then we'll work together on that. But potentially, depending on the timeline for that could be something that we can also feature for the demo at KubeCon. So we were saying to show that you use the headlamp plugin as a visual, and then on the side as the CLI, the terminal, just to show that it's also happening. But if the cross CLI is available by then, at least an alpha version, we might be able to actually feature the cross CLI as well.
Oh, that's great.
So-
That's a lot. I'm sorry, go ahead.
For the Crow CLI, I think we have an open crep in upstream with crep. I think 21. That we can maybe also link there. So if you do want to engage on that directly, feel free to do so, Daniel.
Yeah, I think Jesse had in mind me working with a particular engineer. I forget the name, but yeah, I think Jesse's in Seattle. And when he was coming back, he was going to just organize it. So I was just going to let him, do
So I think
the
you're
social
talking
connection.
about, you're talking about Nick, I think, from AWS as well. He was owning that, I believe.
Probably. I'm going through the thread. I can't find the name, but you're probably right. It's probably Nick.
All right. Anyhow, I just linked the crep if you're interested to take a look there, right, and see the current state.
Yeah. He just shared it with me, and I think we're just gonna do that little collaboration together.
Sounds great.
Oh, that's fabulous. And I wanted to pop back to how, Daniel, you were talking about going and collaborating with SIG Multicluster. And it's perfectly great to have a KEP that we're moving forward, or CREP or whatever, but it's great to have something that is sponsored by multiple SIGs. That's totally fine. If we feel that we need to spin out some kind of working group for ongoing collaboration across SIGs, we certainly can as well, and you could lead that effort. It just depends on what you think ends up being necessary.
Yeah, I think and I can show, and I was talking to Almiko offline. We're not entirely sure that it will require a full working group yet. I think we're going to start with some high level questions just to let them know that we're looking at this, and for them to understand Pro or what it is. Maybe they know already, maybe they don't. But and then based on that, we can figure out. I'll bring it back to the SIG and I'll follow your lead. But yeah, that's the idea. Just ask basic questions. Is like what they're trying to answer is more about where things are placed, but not what is placed. That's what Crow answers. So are they looking at that already? And then how would they feel about us working together, whether us writing the cap or they write the cap and we review it, or we like working group, something along those lines.
Okay, awesome. Almiko, I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
I mean, basically +1 to what Daniel is saying. I think, Daniel's capturing it well. Like at this point, we think we've tripped over something that might be in SIG Multicluster's wheelhouse. And I think we need to determine, is that accurate? And if it is, how do we work with SIG Multicluster? So yeah, like I'm gonna try to go to that meeting as well, mostly to support Daniel, because I think the work he's doing here is great, and I love to see it go forward. So yeah, +1 to what Daniel's saying. I think at this point we have lots of questions and the possibility of future collaboration if SIG Multicluster thinks there's value in it, but we need to learn a little more from them.
Yeah, and for the benefit of Jacob and the Crow team, I think the idea here is just like with Crow, you have a a cluster scoped RGD object, imagine now having a fleet scope RGD object, right? What could that look like, right? Um, it seems that it will unlock a lot of use cases, but it's very much right now North Star.
So I think in general, the stance of Crow as a project has been so far to be very cautious with anything multi-cluster. So we have two upstream proposals, one for multi-cluster runtime from KCP world, so to say, and one which is a custom specification, mostly hosted by, I think, AWS and Spotify collaboratively. And both of these have not yet been accepted because we have not found consensus. So I think we would definitely support an initiative that is, let's say, more rooted in a bigger upstream work, right? That also other projects share on. I think for us, this would solve a big issue of we are not sure if we want to commit to this way of doing multi-cluster.
Yeah, and that's why I've been working very closely with Jesse from your team from AWS. So this is not just me saying I'm kind of the mouthpiece in some of these cases, but I'm trying to kind of make sure that whatever happens is very much in alignment with the Crow maintainers and the Crow community.
Yeah, sure. I'm looking forward to it. Anything that you have to share, I'm happy to take a look as well.
Yeah, to that extent, that like we're just at the beginning of this. So hopefully we'll learn from SIG multi-cluster like what their thoughts are, and then ideally, Daniel can help be the kind of bridge between those communities. And if we need to start a working group, or if this just becomes a sub project or something, then yeah, all good. But we need to have that conversation with them to figure out, how does this impact them basically.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool to have start these conversations now, because when we are at KubeCon and we're all together, we might be able to have a more face-to-face kind of conversation. But at least we know exactly, what to prepare, where to scope, or have some ideas that we can bring to the table, and then double click on them when we're together.
Yeah, absolutely. And like this is, I think this is something natural that happens in tech communities, and especially so when we have boundaries that we've put up, like we call SIGs and working groups and whatnot. Information and ideas can get siloed, right? And so what we're doing is we're breaking down the silos. We're trying to share what we're doing, hopefully learn what they're doing. And in breaking down those silos, hopefully we can build more collaboration across the groups. I mean, that's the ideal here.
Plus one to everything Almiko just said. And also, I think this feeds into what Jacob was illustrating, which is there's already several proposals out there. Finding the best way to do it does involve the kind of collaboration that Daniel's driving across SIGs to make sure that we don't end up with the SIG Cloud Provider way to do it, but then the people in SIG multi-cluster would really prefer something that worked on a more general level. So that's what this communication is really important for. So thank you for driving that. Okay, fantastic. I had another question for you as well, Daniel, because you mentioned starting to share the Crow Headlamp plugin wider. And I know that I think that you were out last meeting because you were on vacation, I think. And I think that the Crow Headlamp plugin shipped and got merged, while you were out. So I would love to just have you maybe give us a link and tell us about this Crow Headlamp plugin, just for the record, if people maybe haven't looked at it yet.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and I'll share the links. But yeah, it was shipped already, and I think Jesse and others from the Crow team had a chance to take a look at it before it was shipped. But yeah, the idea here is that now we have a way to visually see the RGD and double click on it and see instances of it, and it's all very visual. And be able to see all the sub resources all together, because it's all behind the scenes. It's all kind of stitched together with labels, but now we're able to see the entire object and instances and how it gets decomposed, all in a very visual way, down to even the pods and the storage classes and what have you. And so it might be, it's a nice way to be able to kind of, when you think about especially Crow 1.0 and think of it as a product, it's a very nice way to, it's a very nice complement to that. And of course, then the CLI will be another complement, because where the plugin stops is it's really, really nice to visualize things, but it doesn't really help you so much with CI/CD pipelines. Where the CLI will really shine is filling that gap. So once you have the plugin with the CLI, along with all the enhancements that they're doing to Crow, now you have a very kind of robust product. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, if we can kind of help tell the bigger story.
So one thing that I would recommend, if you would like that, is to position also the headline plugin on the Crow repository and link towards that to make awareness on it. I think from our side, we have looked at it, and we have chosen to be a bit more cautious in the beginning because we wanted to focus more on the API primitives. But we definitely know about the engagements, and we love that there's efforts around making it more user friendly for sure, right? So I think this is loved by everyone that works with the project. So if you want, again, super happy to have that represented on the project as well.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think I was asking Elmik or somebody else, like, is there should we make a little bit of a more of a marketing or public announcement? And I wasn't sure what the right channel. So yeah, I'd be happy to work with you, Jacob, and put something out there in the Crow blog. And of course, this is alpha, so I'm sure in the fullness of time it will change as it should.
So
but it's
yeah,
at least it's a step forward.
maybe we can just add it as a community project and just raise some awareness on it. So you also gain some more user base and benefit from the awareness factor, so to say. And then we see where it goes from there, right?
Sure, whatever you think. So I'll ping you offline, and then we can, align
Sure.
on what you would like me to do.
Sounds great, man. Thanks.
And I think that when we were originally talking about where exactly does this go, and because Crow is a Kubernetes subproject and it just has a Kubernetes-SIG, Crow repo, and the Headlamp project needed someplace to go, we ended up putting it in Headlamp as one of the official plugins. But we certainly can have the Crow repo linked to it. And then speaking of the CLI, I think I remember when we were originally talking about CLI, that there was some discussion of, did that need its own repo? If we do end up needing another repo in Kubernetes SIGs, we can certainly, Elmiko and I can help with sponsoring that if it's necessary to be a separate repo versus the Crow repo, just depending on what's necessary.
Yeah, I'm hoping that once Jesse gets back, we can start that conversation. So maybe next week we can figure out what they can tell me what is the right path.
I think in the past, the only reason that we haven't created a repository yet was because the pull was not that strong. If that turns out to have changed now, I think we can always revisit that. So yeah, +1 from my side.
Yeah, and again, I think to me, where the timing might be right. And again, you guys have done 99.99% of the work with Crow. So I'm not here I'm not worried. I don't have freedom of speech. But when you think about like a 1.0 version of Crow, it would almost make sense to kind of think of it as a product, and what it needs. Like when you need Crow, you need a way to operate Crow in a CLI type, in a CI/CD pipeline type of manner. So I think it would be a missed opportunity if we didn't think of the CLI now. I think now might be a good time to do it versus after the fact.
All right, wonderful. And oh yeah, sorry. I think I'm seeing in the notes that it sounds like I said something maybe a little confusing. I was not actually suggesting to move the plugin. What I was suggesting is that we might make the Crow CLI have its own independence if necessary. So I'll make sure that that's amended for clarity. Yeah, Crow CLI. The plugin itself, I think, lives in the right place in terms of Headlamp. But we certainly could link to it. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yes, this is the problem with saying it too many times. I bring ambiguity when I say it. You don't know what the antecedent is of that pronoun. Challenging. Okay. All right. Let's see. We haven't heard as much from Lucas or Chris. We've heard a lot from Jacob and Daniel so far. Does anyone else, Lucas, Chris, or anyone, have anything else they want to add before we start taking a look at dashboards? Oh, and Theo joined as well, if you have anything to add. All right. What do we got to look at today, Almiko?
Oh, nice. Well, we've gone down one, so that's good. Just this remove the cluster directory, which is not anything that we need to worry about. Our stuff has already been done from that. This is just, as you can see, a lot of SIGs are participating in this, and it's been taking a long time to remove it. So we're good there. We don't need to worry about it from our perspective. And then let's look at the test just for giggles here. Okay. I'm imagining that these are not going to be. Yeah, this does not look related to our stuff. But always good to check. And there's like, I'm hoping to have some new stuff to show about testing soon. TM. I've got like a test bed working, and now I need to put it together with an actual provider to show like the full end to end. Yeah, I don't think this is related to the cloud controllers.
Is that the same issue we were seeing with timeouts in GCP before?
I think this is actually different.
Oh,
Just
okay.
looking at the like this is a different error. That highlight is terrible. This is a different error than we were seeing before. It does look similar though, because we were getting a lot of these connection issues. But what it turned out, one of these issues turned it out to be related to the CNI that was being installed. And when we drilled deeper into it, it was like Cilium that was being installed. And then SIG networking was like, yeah, we don't approve, like, we don't own Cilium. This is not the way we normally do it. So there was thank you, Jakob. There was a lot of, there was a lot of like back and forth about it. So anyways, I imagine this might be something similar. It looks kind of similar.
In the scrolling, I saw something about the pause container.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like this failure is around, is that it's not
pod one not found. So maybe we're just looking for the pause container in the wrong place.
Who knows?
I don't know where we're explicitly stating where the pause container lives, but yeah.
But like this is, pod lifecycle should be able to connect to other pod from terminating pod. This is not a test related to the
right.
Maybe if there's a load balancer service in the middle of it, perhaps, but I think this is more related to the pod networking.
Right.
Anyways,
if only one of 7,000 tests failed, that's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, well, and again, like I have serious doubts about how much of the cloud controller is actually being tested appropriately.
Yeah.
Sorry, it sounded like my printer just started doing something on its own. I was like, what?
Oh.
No, it's just people doing work at my house.
I'm like, wait, paranoia. Printers could do anything. Who knows?
Totally.
All right, great. Let's see, do we have anything? Oh, yeah, here we go.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Nobody has added new topics.
So. I know I do plan on in an async fashion, chatting with folks about setting up some prep sessions for our KubeCon. But other than that,
yeah, we should definitely do that.
Yeah, I have team members who have been out who are back starting next week, which is great because it will give me a little bit more bandwidth. So
Yeah, I mean, we still have plenty of time, but I think it probably, like, I know Daniel and I had talked about this a little bit, but
Mhm.
like, we should probably start to get just like a rough outline together and people can
Mhm.
start working on different parts and everything. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
maybe if we can take an action item to get like a deck at least in
Mhm.
place, just so that we can start hacking on it, that's probably, I'd be good with that.
Mhm. Right, fantastic.
Yeah, now I don't even want to type AI.
That is always the problem, right? I would really prefer not to have a deck that's generated with many things that are not correct. I can only imagine what it would think we're going to do.
I always wonder what it's thinking when I open a new document and it's like, would you like me to start something for you? It's like, you don't even know what I'm going to write about. Like,
I mean, you could definitely start something.
yeah, right. Exactly. Cool. Yeah, but
Okay.
let's sync up about
Yeah.
that in Slack and
Yeah.
in the next 2 weeks, let's
Yeah.
get something started.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. Anything else we should talk about before we call it? All right. Wonderful talking to you all. Lots of good stuff. Congrats again on getting that CAP moved towards beta. Very exciting. And looking forward to that blog post being published. All right. Okay. Take care, all.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Later, buddy.